You're looking at somebody whose very life was very much formed around the social media presence that they were putting forward. That's who they wanted you to think that they were. And on social media, I mean, you can edit pictures, you can put on filters, you can take out this person from the background, that person from the background. And she had applied her social media existence to the situation in her actual life. Oh, oops, I had a baby. I'm going to edit the baby out. You guys know that story of the girl named Laken Snelling who was a cheerleader at the University of Kentucky. And then we did talk about this, but only briefly. We didn't have a lot of information, but more information came out this week. This is the girl who was the competitive cheerleader. And then she had a baby in her dorm room. And then the baby was discovered in a trash bag. And that's pretty much all we knew. We didn't know when the baby had been born. We didn't know if it was a stillborn, if it was a preemie. We didn't know if anybody knew that she was pregnant. What did she do afterward? We knew nothing. Well, now we know some things. Now, at this point, right now, she's being charged of abuse of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and then concealing a birth. But she's not being charged with murder yet. Although she should be, because she went into labor in the middle of the night, about 4 a.m. And she said that she gave birth to a baby full term, and that the baby was alive at the time that it was born. She sort of downplayed how alive it was, saying that it was whimpering a little bit and that it was like kind of moving around a little bit. Then she says that and this is not clear, that she fell asleep, but fell asleep on top of the baby. Like after giving birth, she was so worn out, she fell asleep. That's not unusual, but seems to me that if you had care or concern for the baby, you would have wrapped the baby up. And then even if you are planning on going to bed, you'd go to bed with the baby. She clearly wasn't prepared to have the baby in her dorm room. It's not like she had like a crib or something, but it seems like you would have created some environment for the child to stay alive. But no, she falls on top of the baby. So it's not clear. Is she trying to say she passed out on the baby, like I fainted from the exertion of having labor, or if she intentionally fell asleep on the baby to suffocate it, and then when she woke up, oh, the baby's blue, right? So then she goes about the business cleaning up the mess. She's got cleaning supplies. She's got paper towels and stuff. She's got to clean up the blood. She puts the placenta in a plastic bag. Then she puts the placenta and the cleaning supplies and the baby wrapped in a towel into a black garbage bag. And then she throws the black garbage bag into her closet for fiddly dee. I'll think about that tomorrow. Then, oh my gosh, it's time to go to class. So she goes to her car and drives to class, although she doesn't make it in because she's not feeling great. You can imagine she just had a baby. And so then she sits in the parking lot and she doesn't go in. And then she decides, since I don't feel good, I guess I'll order McDonald's because that'll make me feel a hell of a lot better. So she orders some McDonald's through the app. Then she goes to McDonald's, picks up the food, sits in the parking lot, eats the food, thinks about going to the clinic, decides not to. And that's how things worked out for her that day. Meanwhile, her friends are like, what the heck happened to Laken last night? Because we heard some things. They heard some bumping and carrying on upstairs, and so they decide they're going to go into her room, and they're going to have a look around, because you know what? Laken's been looking weird lately, and they've had their suspicions. Laken was on social media a lot. She was very into herself. That's the problem with social media. It really exposes how self-centered we really are. Anyway, she was always posting pictures of herself in different outfits, pictures of herself singing, all these pictures where she thought she was looking real cute, So very big social media presence, constantly on her phone, taking videos and pictures of everything at all the time. Then about the spring, she stopped posting. And it seems to correlate with as she began to show more as a pregnant person, she wasn't looking to advertise that anymore. But we do have pictures of what she was looking like. This is how Laken looked before the pregnancy, and this is what she was looking like at an event 4 months before she gave birth. So evidently showing that she's pregnant. This is not the freshman 15 that we're all so accustomed to. You can see she's carrying weight in her stomach. So it feels very evident that her friend's suspicions were well-founded. So while she's at class trying to decide what she's going to do next and eating her McDonald's, her friends are going through her things and they find the baby in the trash bag and they call the police. Okay. This is obviously hugely horrific. And I think one of the things that's so sad for a number of reasons is that, one, she had deluded herself into believing that no one would help her. That if she were to tell anybody what had happened, she would be shunned completely. And that it was better not to tell anybody. So she has no community around her. Two, she had convinced herself that it would be better to kill this baby and be a murderer than it would be to be a young mom. Something had told her that she needed to edit out, filter out this reality so she could keep going on with her other one. And I think my third thing that was really sad to me is you're looking at somebody whose very life was very much formed around the social media presence that they were putting forward. That's who they wanted you to think that they were. And on social media, I mean, you can edit pictures, you can put on filters, you can take out this person from the background, that person from the background. And she had applied her social media existence to the situation in her actual life. Oh, oops, I had a baby. I'm going to edit the baby out. And think she could keep going on with her regular life. Like, oh, I edited that out and I can keep posting the picture. Oh, I edited the baby out. I'm going to go to class. What are you talking about? You know, and of course you can't keep going. You just murdered a baby. She knew the baby was alive. The baby was whimpering and twitching. At any time, she could have called the police then and said, I've had a baby. I didn't tell anybody and I don't know what to do. She could have, there's plenty of people who would want to adopt that baby, take care of that baby, you know? It could have gone on to live. If she didn't feel prepared to be a mother, that's okay. There's lots of people who want to help you. You know, but she wasn't in communication with anybody. And what is the deal with all these girls who we thought she was pregnant, but we didn't say anything. And then later we went into her room to like see if she'd actually had the baby, and lo and behold, there it is in the trash bag. Well, girls, if you knew that she was pregnant, why didn't any one of you say, Lakin, is everything okay? Lakin, you can be honest with us. We want to help you. Hey, I'm gonna take you. Let's go together to the nearest pregnancy center. You know, let's go get an ultrasound. Let's make sure. Let's get excited. Let's go look at baby things. That group of friends, instead of talking about her behind her back and being like, Lakin's getting fat. Why didn't they do anything? Why didn't they say anything? Why didn't they help her? Why weren't they friends? Instead, they're snooping around her room, finding all this stuff and calling the police on her instead of being true friends that could have helped her and helped the life of that baby. If they suspected she was pregnant, why didn't they help her? Enough already of this. You know, oh, Lakin's getting fat. Yeah. Yeah, well, you're a useless friend. Friend, if you can even say that. You know, I mean, it's just, it's devastating. I think the other thing that's really strange is, while she was in labor, she was taking pictures of herself in labor, which is so indicative of a culture that feels that they have to document every single thing, take pictures and videos of everything. And even she was like, I better not have this on my phone anymore. This is kind of weird. And had deleted those pictures. So it seems weird because, you know, she's trying to paint this picture of a person who was like, I don't know, I just suddenly was, I was doing irrational things. Well, you were rational enough to want to document the fact that you were having a baby, pretty big event. You're rational enough to have cleaning supplies available. You're rational enough to put your placenta in a Ziploc bag and clean up your room and put all the things together in a bag. You know, you were rational enough to, I guess, go to class. I mean, like, which part is the part where she says she just, I don't know, I just lost it? Was it the part when she saw a living baby and decided she'd fall down on it and suffocated to death? I mean, that is irrational behavior. But, like, what led to that? You know? It's sad. I feel like social media is just creating these monsters. And you do see these studies where they say that there's this uptick in narcissism, which can be directly related to social media. But what a narcissistic thing to do. Like, oh, this baby, oh gosh, I had a baby. God, what am I going to do with that? You know? And then just deleting it from her life. You know, just, oops, I didn't want that picture in my highlight reel. I mean, they need to be studying what happened to this girl and the way that she looked at the arrival of that baby as a direct link to the way that she was married to social media and everything in her life. She'd stopped seeing that real life is very different from what you're doing online. And there is a connection there, without a doubt.